Parties don't have to consent to a breakup. It's not like you're launching missiles from a submarine and you both have to turn your keys. Obviously, you didn't make a convincing case. Let me hear your argument. Well, I don't really like her. That's good. I don't find her attractive. Solid. I'd like to sleep with a lot of other women. Always not good. Sometimes at restaurants, she talks to her food. Ew, Mr. Mashed Potatoes, you are so good. You have an airtight case. And in bed, I'm afraid we're out of time. Hey, check these out. These are Jerry Lewis's old cufflinks that he actually wore in the movie Cinderella. I got him at an auction. That's some cufflinks I could have loaned you. No, Jerry Lewis is going to be at this Friars Club roast I'm going to next week. Now I have an indescribable conversation with him. You already have it in. You have the same first name. Jerry. Oh, that'll intrigue him. Well, it worked when I met George Papard last week. George Papard has been dead for years. Well, whoever it was, he knew a lot about the acting. So you choose your last meal based on the method of execution?
Right. I mean, if I was getting a chair, I'd go for something hot and spicy. Thai, maybe Mexican. Lethal injection feels like just, painless, don't want anything too heavy.
So, why don't we get together sometime?
Oh, sure. Why don't you give me your number?
I think it'd be better if I called you.
Oh, okay. Then we could grab some lunch sometime. Do you work around here?
No, not really.
So is there anything you can tell me about yourself?
I think you're very beautiful.
I haven't talked to him in like 3 weeks. I think it might be over.
So what's this guy about?
I don't know. Wouldn't tell me his phone number, where he works.
Or is a crime fighter safeguarding secret identity?
Hello. Welcome to Minotaur Madness on Thursday night. And tonight we are going to be painting another color comp Minotaur sketch. And I think I've been looking at these two. I like them both. I think I'm going to go with this guy though, because I want to try a really dark background blending into his figure. Grandma Lynette, dog lover. Hello, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Glad to see you all. Thanks for stopping by. Well, I'm glad you like them. Thank you for stopping by to say hello. It was my pleasure to send them out to you. Soon I will be giving away some of the original paintings, or at least auctioning them off. I haven't decided which is which yet, but hang out for as long as you can or as long as you like. And I'll go ahead here and get started. I do have a little bit of touch-up erasing to do. Actually, I think I'm going to need my better eraser for this. I've got about 5 more of these already sketched out. It's almost time to take some time to sketch out some more. I think it helps a lot to have them ready than wasting time on the well, it's not really a wasting time on the stream. I guess sketching them out on the stream would be pretty cool as well. For this one, I'm going to bring the light in this way. That's what my little sticker is here for, to remind me which way the light's coming in, so I'll know which way shadows are. It helps me out a lot. When I'm sketching, sometimes what I do, especially if I'm like out in the park, I'll draw a little arrow in the corner of my drawing to remind me, because once you get into it, and sometimes you're like, oh man, you put something in, and then after you do it, you go, that didn't make sense. And it's because you forgot which direction the lighting was in. And sometimes it doesn't matter, to be honest. There's the rule of cool, where even if it doesn't make sense realistically, it looks good. And so you go with it and you just make it happen. I'm definitely going with a dark background on this one. And I'm not sure if it's going to be, I'm thinking, because I'm going to use the Zorn palette again, which is the yellow ochre and the vermilion, and all the colors I can mix with that, including black and white to change the tones. Or the values, I should say. I'm thinking, last week I went with a pearl. Ooh, I messed that up. Last week I went with a pearl background, blue pearl, and it came out pretty good. This week I want to go with maybe a ultramarine navy blue. Ray, Hail Candy, what's going on? How are you doing tonight? I'm just adding in some highlights before I get started painting, setting up some tiles and structures. How are you doing tonight? Chilling. Have you had any shows lately? I don't think I've seen you pop up. Well, actually, you had family visiting for a while, so I know you were doing that.
There's been some robberies in the building. I can't believe it. I lived here. I ran out to buy some bird seed and I forgot my key. Sounds like a scam.
Okay. Oh, tomorrow's perfect. I'll definitely be there. Doing anything special? Working on any special projects, or are you starting something new? For anybody that doesn't follow Hail Candy, you are missing out on a fantastic artist with incredible creativity. Oh, Ethan, you're going to work on Ethan?
George, you didn't mean that. That was just a fight.
Why does it always seem like I'm the only one working at this breakup?
George, I listened to your arguments, and they were rambling and flimsy. I'm not convinced. Come on, get dressed and let's get some food.
Ew, Mr. Apple, you have a brown spot. Love this.
It's nothing special, just
I think there are some
Romantic.
pretty cool movies coming up over the next month or two.
This is wrong.
I'm definitely looking forward to Miss Marvel, in a strange kind of way. I'm looking forward to it in that I'm anxious for another good superhero movie because I think I've been missing out on. I think after the Avengers and after the Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, it seems like the studios are struggling. How was the Super Mario Brothers movie? I haven't seen it yet. Um, the people who have, they all tell me they loved it, although many of them are just fans. So it's hard to, take their opinion at face value. Same way I am with Batman. When Justice League came out, I was like, "Oh yeah, go watch it," and people were like, "You're joking, right?" But it was a lot of it was because I was just a fan, and there was I had nothing bad to say about the movie. Cute. So I should go to the theater that serves liquor and just have fun. Hmm.
Well, let's think. Have you ever dealt with the poor in any other situation?
Yes, there was this homeless guy who used to urinate on our garbage cans.
Good. How did you handle that?
Well, we gave him a few bucks and
Same situation. Pay him off and you're clean.
Oh, you liked the original as well?
to get out of this relationship.
Yeah, that's definitely different.
And hand him.
Um, but hey, that's all right.
He could have been cheating on his wife. Things would be so much simpler.
What's this, Blue Arrow?
Green Lantern.
We found out his superpower was lack of money. He's invulnerable to predators. He's the no Green Lantern.
All right, I think that's good. I think that's enough separation. Let's get started. So you still give it the thumbs up for watching?
She's like a district attorney. It's not the truth. I'll break under the cross.
All right, let's do a time hack here. 8:48. I haven't picked out a color for the background yet.
There's a giant parrot
I don't know how this is going to look at all, but I'm going to go for it. It's just paint. If I don't like it, I don't like it. Ain't a big deal. I know it'll come. Oh, actually, I'm going to try something a little bit different on this in a couple of ways. So do I have the other one that I just finished to show? Oh, it's still drying.
I've always fantasized about jumping into bed with you. I don't want to spoil things by sleeping with you too soon.
Are you sure? Because it could really help me out of a jam.
A lot of build something with you, George.
Oh, not more building.
And I won't take no for an answer.
No.
No.
All right.
What are we doing in this alley?
This is another mistake I make, is I should really tape it off before the sketch, or at least shrink the sketch to make sure I keep the drawing within the compounds of the border that I know I'm going to put on it. But it goes back to me overdrawing. I don't draw little. And usually I start with the focal point. And then once I get it the way I want it, I do the rest of the drawing from there. So I'm going to cover up a little bit of the battle axe and some of the leg and hand, but I think it'll be okay. Jalita, thanks for stopping by. So this past weekend, I went up to Jacksonville. I didn't have a show Saturday night. So Sketch Card Saturday night was actually a comic show up in Jacksonville at Mythic Mountain Toy and Collectible. Really nice store, super nice store. I definitely plan to go back. It was a good time. I got to hang out with a couple of other artists. My buddy Cool as Heck went, who I work with on my comic books. Jason Sobel, who is a comic artist and illustrator, and he does some really cool paintings. If you're on Instagram, check out Jason Sobel. And then the Graven Wolves. So also on Instagram, the Graven Wolves. So the guy's name is Graven Raven Wolf. Heath Hope, hey, how's it going? Which is weird, crazy. Oh, I forgot to clean my palette. Doggone it. That's all right. So this was from last week. And when I start painting, since this is a gouache, it's going to react. The water is going to reactivate all of this. But that's okay. I'm just going to go with whatever it looks like. But the guy's name is Graven Ravenwolf. And then his wife is Monica. She goes by the Art of Ravenwolf. And she is a illustrator. She does some really cool paintings and sketches and drawings. Really talented. And he is Graven Ravenwolf. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, going with the flow. Just, hey, whatever. The worst thing that could happen is what? I don't like the paint color. Big deal, right? But I do want this darker blue. As the base. These mop brush. This was probably one of my best investments. Was a mop brush. I had seen people use it. I really didn't pay attention to it. And then one day I was working on a larger piece and I really needed to get it done. And I was using a regular flat brush like this, which almost, it seems like it wouldn't be, but it's completely different using this flat brush to do it. The mop brush just holds so much water and it sucks up the color and the water, and then boom, done. Just like that.
You're home early.
Who is this? His wife. You're poor and married.
Ooh.
Looks like
So no, absolutely not.
I guess I'm no slow.
The designer gouache does not blend at all. You have to glaze. You have to glaze from one color to the next, which is what I typically do. The acrylics blend a little bit better, and the acrylics you can get designer gouache, which is what I use, which is more of a watercolor with much more opacity, and then there's the acrylic gouache. The acrylic gouache is just like the acrylic paint, except you can mix it with water to make it a little bit easier to work with. And once it dries, it dries. That's it. Acrylic, it doesn't reactivate. So when it's dry, it's dry. I like the fact that the gouache, the designer gouache, reactivates, because until I decide I'm done with the painting, I can go back. So here's a painting I've been working on for several months, and it's not dry. I mean, it's dry if I say it's dry, but if I put a wet brush on there, I can still glaze over. I can do a little bit of blending, but really it tiles, it dries in a nice tiled fashion. In a nice tiled fashion. And then here you can see where I kind of glazed over some of the colors, but it doesn't necessarily blend. It's not like oils at all. And the acrylics, you can blend a lot better. But the reason I like this is because I was using watercolor. But watercolor has no opacity. So you can't get that nice thickness that you want sometimes. All right, for this one, I am going to use, let me see here. I'm going to go with the yellow ochre and black as my base. So I'm going to change it up a little bit from what I did last week. Last week I used the vermilion and black as my shadowed color. And this time I'm going to use the yellow ochre and black. Don't know what it'll look like, but hey, that's the fun of it. That is the fun of it. And if I can remember not to use my mixing brush as my paintbrush, that will be the first step to success for me tonight. I use my filberts to mix, and I really don't want to use them to paint. Ooh, I don't know if I like this color at all. This is odd.
So you need to know.
No, I don't need to know. I just think it would be nice if I knew. Should I take that? Oh, here.
That, I don't know. I'm going to use it. I think it's kind of ugly. Oh, but it may work out. It might work out. I don't know. But right now, don't use this brush. Don't use this brush.
I just leased a house out in the Hamptons, and I forgot to get out there this weekend and sign the papers. I'm going back to bed. You apologize. Oh, sure. I mean, after all, you were almost my Okay, hey, I gotta go. House in the Hamptons. Well, I've been lying about my income for a few years. I figured I could afford a fake house.
All right, now let's do a time hack. It is 9 o'clock on the dot. Let's see what we can do in 35 minutes, which is what I want to get these little color comps down to. It might look nice. I don't know. I'm not going to knock it. It's not the color's fault. It's not the paint's fault.
How are they going to make that book into a movie? Remember that photo book on toy ray guns? Yeah. Independence Day.
Okay, against the blue, I'm not hating it.
Let's just say that I don't have to worry about working for a while. A long while.
That's funny because I haven't seen you working for a while. A long while.
You're not going to because I'm hanging it up. Boys, I'm retiring.
For what? From the grind. I mean, who needs
Not hating it.
I've accomplished everything I've set out.
Against the blue, it's okay. It'll be pretty later. That's what used to people tell me about my college girlfriend. Boom, boom. No, I'm joking. Oh,
My neighbor. He blasts that some 24 hours a day. Look out, turn it down.
I used to actually tell girls that about me. I was like, "You're gonna love me later."
African. Well, not Africa, actually South Africa. My
Oh shoot. Oh man. Actually my college sweetheart was gorgeous. But I was and I am very short. For a guy. I'm 5'7", and I hung around a lot of big athletic dudes, and we would go out to the club, and like girls would be like, "You're so short," and I'm like, "I'm taller than you," and they're like, "Yeah, but you're short for a dude," and I'm like, "Oh wow, thanks." Um, which is funny because
It's a radar detector.
in my experience, there's not a lot of 6'2" dudes walking around. Um, the average height of a guy is about 5'10". Uh, but I get it. Everybody wants the tall, dark, and handsome. So by the time I got to college, it actually didn't bother me. It bothered me growing up because in elementary, middle school, and high school, I don't know what they were feeding most of the girls I went to school with, but they were all taller than me, especially in elementary and middle school. I mean, they made me look like a super midget. Oh, Dragon High Wind, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I actually had a friend one time. Now she was tall. She was probably about 5'10", 5'11", and she was like, "I can't date a guy shorter than 6 feet." And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Because when I wear heels, I'm like 6'1", 6'2". I was like, "Okay, I get it." I was like, "But does it make a difference?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." Um, I'll admit I didn't always get it, but I've never been tall, so I can't say one way or the other why it would matter. I wasn't supposed to paint that part this color. This is the Minotaur color. But I think that's all the dark areas I want to do. I'm going to step it up to the next shade up. And I'm going to just try to just add just the...
Maybe he's next.
Is that the right word?
I really don't think we're supposed to be talking about this.
You know what? I'm leaving. I'll just talk to Jerry when he gets back.
No, we don't do the start over.
We saw him in the city this weekend.
The cool thing now, the funny thing is, if this was ink, pen and ink, it might be a start over. When I'm doing my pen and ink drawings, there are times where I'm like, I didn't mean to do that. And then I'm like, okay, either I got to try to make it cool or it's done. Paint, you can always paint over. The hard part about painting over gouache is what I was talking about earlier. It will reactivate. And so if I don't let it dry, if I let that part dry, which it'll be dry pretty soon, the designer gouache dries pretty fast. Gouache in general dries pretty fast. Then I can paint over it. If I use too much water, it'll reactivate that paint underneath it, and then it'll be pretty jacked up. The reason I like doing a wash is because it's too thin to activate. Once it dries into the paper, that's pretty much it. It'll be solid after that.
Well, your tip is $4.36.6666.
Gary, it is so nice of you to come down here on your father's birthday. Maybe I'll take his mind off the condo election.
Oh, right. You can't run for condo president because you were impeached at the other condo.
I was never impeached. I resigned.
Oh, the press would bury him.
What press?
The condo newsletter, the breeze.
Pinko County Ranch.
I think this is going to work out with the blue background. I can't say that I'm loving it yet, but it just might work. When you get back into scheduling your shows, oh, Dragon Hoarder, what's going on? What is happening? I got celebrities in the house now, boy.
Guarantee information. Name, we know that. Hobbies, skiing, racquetball. Doesn't matter. Oh, here's one. Race.
Isn't that optional?
It certainly should be. It's nobody's damn business. But they really would like to know.
All right. Asian.
What?
Just a mess with them.
Good one.
Average income.
Oh, thank you much.
Really?
Does that matter?
But it's very nice to know.
So did you figure out Daryl's,
I've given up. So now we're going to a bunch of Spanish restaurants. I figure that'll cover us either way.
You're a master of race relations.
Kramer's running for president of the condo?
Yeah, it's all my father's doing. He wants to install Kramer in a puppet regime and then wield power from behind the scenes.
I've really got to learn how to block in these colors faster. If I can get to blocking in faster, then I can, by the time I finish blocking in, I'll have time to do some deeper shadows, some highlights, some blends, some glazes. I spend too much time blocking in sometimes, and it's not necessary, to be honest.
Twice a day and flush the toilet so the gaskets don't dry out and leak. What about the mayor? This is far more important. You must exercise the gaskets, George.
Actually, this is not looking too bad. Now that the colors are starting to come together.
Oh, right, at the coffee shop. Where did they get the idea that you have a place in the Hamptons?
From me.
What did you say?
I told them I have a place in the Hamptons.
That is true.
What did you say?
Well, but yeah, but you have, right, hell candy. The style you're doing that at is perfect for the speed you are. And Dragon Hoarder, this is true. For the paintings, like the big paintings that I do, I take as long as I want. The picture's done when the picture's done. But these color comps, honestly, need to be in like 15, 20 minutes. They should not take that long. I think part of it is because I kind of have an idea of what I want the colors to be. But until I get that first block in, which is what I'm doing now, I can't visualize what it looks like. Now, once these color comps are done and I decide to make one a big painting, the big paintings get blocked in really quick because now I know what adjustments to make and where I want the colors. But for these, once I pick a palette, all I'm doing is going from dark to light or light to dark and just blocking them in. I don't need to be precious with them. But I like for them to look relatively decent, like little mini paintings that if somebody wants it, it's a good gift.
Isn't that unbelievable? Yes, it's awful. They're upset because we're interracial.
All right, I'm gonna throw some red in there now. Maybe a little dab of, ooh, that came out way too fast. So here's my little squirt of red. I only wanted a dab.
Speak now, or we are headed to the Hamptons.
But that's also another good part about the wash is if it dries, it's not a big deal. Water reactivates it and I can keep using it off the palette.
Hey, Dad, you can program this thing to beep every time you need to take a bite. Dad, you look so different. We're campaigning, Jerry. The rule that people want.
How long do you normally spend on your stuff, Dragon Hoarder?
Tomorrow's the election. Yeah, polls close after dinner, 3 o'clock. Okay, when we
I actually only wanted a drop. But as you can see, I squirted out almost as much red as I wanted yellow. But that was just me not paying attention.
Dad, but the clubhouse, Kramer. Don't you realize this is against the rules?
Well, I couldn't find my shoes. These people work and wait their whole lives to move down here, sit in the heat, pretend it's not hot, and enforce these rules.
Who wants hot This is a huge scandal.
So I'm not sure. That kind of looks almost like what I was using before.
20 people on the board. Thank God you can get that deal. Now we're playing politics. All right, what do we do next, Marty? Huh? Wiretap slush funds? First, I need the nut.
Okay, a week's not. Oh, months, years. Yeah, but if it's years, it's because you've decided to set it to the side. Maybe it's not because it's taking you years. Although I've got a painting sitting over here on the side that I have been working on for over a year. And the funny thing is, it's not that good. I didn't like it. I didn't like the direction it was going, and I just don't want to fix it. I like the colors, and I like the pose, the composition. I just didn't like the way the painting was coming out. And I said, "Oh, I'll come back to it." And it's just sat over there. When all I have to do is take some water, because it is a gouache painting, mellow it out a little bit, and I can actually water it down, take a paintbrush and lift some of the paint off even. And I just won't do it. I'd much rather work on something new than fix something old. How are we doing on time? 9:15, 9:16. Yeah, I'll grab it in a second. What medium are you using, Dragon Hoarder? I'll grab the painting here in just a sec.
Why would you take me to a Spanish restaurant because I'm black?
I don't go for perfect anymore. I used to go for perfect. I actually stopped going for perfect, and this is a good thing, when I actually started doing more commissions. When I started doing commissions more, I stopped the perfect, because people are like, "I want the picture." And when I was into, not when I was into, when I'm doing sketches at conventions or in the comic store for people, they're like, "Oh, that's it right there." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I want to do one more thing." They're like, "Stop messing with it." I'm like, I'm sorry. But you can always see something wrong, or something not necessarily even wrong, just something that you want to do better. And when I actually start doing comic books, well, that's completely different. You can't sell it if it ain't done. So you got to be done. You got to be like, "Hey, this is it." And you can always make it better on the next painting, or the next panel, or the next picture, or the next whatever. But at some point, you got to call the ball and be like, "Done is done." I can't say I'm digging this color I'm putting on right now. It may turn out to be all right, but I'm not digging it right now. Came out a little bit too orange. That's not what I was going for. Oh, wow. So you do a lot of mixed media. Do you have a preference on what you like the most?
We don't like you, George. And we always blame you for what happened to Sue.
So I've got a question for you all. How often do you sketch? Just like grab your sketchbook and just sketch random stuff, whatever in your head, maybe. That's one thing that I absolutely love to do is sketch. On the weekends, I'll go to the park. I'll walk around. I got a little fold out seat, that little fold out stool that slings over my shoulder. I see something interesting, I stop and sketch. That is one of my favorite things to do.
Jesus.
According to our latest quarterly thing, Kruger Industrial Smoothie.
Yeah, I love, that is one of my guilty pleasures is sketching. I actually designed my own sketchbooks now. I'll show you that too here in a second. I've designed my own sketchbooks that I use and print out. I have printed, I shouldn't say I print them out. I have them printed and I use them. I should actually put a couple of those up in the store. I think a lot of the people on the whatnot would like them. I do sell them at comic conventions. I don't know why I wouldn't put them up in the store here. I sell them at comic conventions and I give them out to my team when we're working on projects together. All right. Now I'm going to go with a red and white into a P. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with just a touch of white to this current mixture. I'm getting mixed feelings on this right now. I'm going to have to see it through to the end.
George, when you hit that high note, say goodnight and walk off. You can't just leave. That's the way they do it in Vegas.
That's exactly what I do. I go to the park, and now one thing I will say, if people, when I pull out my sketchbook, because I'll do, I won't take the gouache, but I'll take the watercolor. And I'll do pen and ink watercolor sketches, urban sketching type stuff. And it will draw a crowd sometimes. You know, people come over, oh, what are you doing? And it's usually around the time I'm there. I don't actually want to be bothered, but I get it. You know, they're like, hey, this guy looks like he's doing something cool. I want to check it out. And people will stop for that and want to inquire about what you're doing. Now I have a camper van that I built, and sometime I'll sit, if I really don't want to be bothered, I'll sit in the van, open the side door, and I'll paint from there. Which I enjoy doing too. And the cool thing is, in the van, even if it's raining or cold, I can sit in the van and paint and sketch at the park. And it has a sink in it, so I can clean up my paints. Another guilty pleasure.
cat, something like that. A little wet. I didn't believe it. What's with the fake sneezing? Yeah, we're going down to Mount Sinai Hospital. So they hire actors to help the students practice diagnosing. They assign you a specific disease and you act out the symptoms. It's an easy game. Do medical schools actually do this? Well, the better ones. All right, let's practice Reggie. Ready?
All right, running a little bit behind time, but not too bad.
Thank you. Will you get out of here with that stuff? Mickey, DTs.
Hey, it's me.
Blaine?
No, it's me.
George?
Jerry, it's Sophie. I can't believe you don't recognize my voice.
Oh, I know it was you. I was joking. I'm a comedian. I mean, pick a cat. Pick a cat. Kramer, I really think you guys are going too far with this. No, Mickey swallowed 12 aspirin. Did he overdose? No, it's just too much.
And it gets worse. A team working on the statue in Lafayette Square kind of over-smoothed it. They ground the head down to about the size of a softball. That smells trouble. All right, well, why don't we smooth the head down to nothing, stick a pumpkin under its arm, and change the nameplate to Ichabod Crane.
In your package, you will find the disease you have been assigned and the symptoms you will need to exhibit.
Bacterial meningitis. Jackpot. Gonorrhea. Trade? Sorry, buddy. This is the hamlet of diseases. Severe pain, nausea, delusions. It's got everything. Archie, you want to trade? Sure. Okay, what do you got? The surgeon left a sponge inside me. Good luck with that.
I know I hit my high note, so I thanked the crowd while I was gone.
What'd you do the rest of the day?
So that old woman, she's just a lion, right?
A bit of a trend, if you ask me.
It's coming out okay. I'm all right with this.
What's your name?
I did.
And the Christian rock?
Resurrected. And look what I pried off of his bumper. Jesus fish.
Are you having fish sticks?
No. So you're disappointed he's a spiritual person?
Oh yeah, I got him because he seems so one-dimensional. I feel misled.
Oh, thank you so much. I think I am gonna make time tonight. I think I've got 2 more blocks,
It's me.
and that'll be it.
I thought so.
She's not me.
I don't know if I would make this a large painting though. I don't. I like the pose, but I think I would have to come up with a different color palette. I'm not super crazy about the color palette.
Well, I got gonorrhea.
That seems about right.
That's what they gave. He's pretending he's got gonorrhea so med students can diagnose it. It's a waste of my talent. Just a little burn. Mickey, he got bacterial meningitis.
Well, I guess there are no small diseases, only small actors. All right, that's it for me.
I'm making some really ugly colors on my palette now, trying to figure out something. Oh shoot.
Maybe that's what my gonorrhea is missing. Yes, definitely. Felt that gonorrhea out?
I'm gonna go for it though.
Yes,
I'm not loving what's coming out,
people feel my gonorrhea.
but I do want to see how it looks next to the other colors. So I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. Any other thing? The haunting memories of lost love.
So using I keep forgetting that when you use a limited color palette, because I'm only using 2 colors with black and white, the colors are actually going to have a natural harmony because there's only 2. It's not, you can let it get away from you a little bit, but not that much really. I mean, that's the whole point of the limited color palette, is to keep it from getting away from you too much. So there'll be some harmony between them. It may not be exactly what you want, but it won't be so far off that it just looks crazy weird. And then again, this is just a block in, so I can always come back with something different. Like some of these combinations made for a green that I wasn't expecting. And so if I intentionally come back with like a sap green or deep green, forest green or something for some of the areas, it may actually work out really well.
So, how are things with Jerry?
I really like him, but, well, I still haven't told him the tractor story.
Right, the tractor story.
Are you sick, Ray? You sound kind of funny.
Yeah, I gotta get to the doctor, but it drives me to take chances like that. It's very real. She said there's some tractor story that she hasn't told me about. Oh, back it up, back it up. Beep, beep, beep. Tractor story. Beep, beep, beep. What are you doing?
So where do you want to eat?
Feels like an Arby's snack.
Arby's, beef and cheese and... Do you believe in God? Oh, so you're pretty religious.
That's right.
So is it a problem that I'm not really religious?
Not for me.
Why not?
I'm not the one going to hell.
You know what I think?
Okay, that came out all right. It actually came out okay. I got one more color. I think I'm gonna go with a uh, hot red, just to add some funkiness to it.
She lost her thumbs in a tractor accident and they grafted her big toes on.
That actually did not come out bad at all. What am I trying to go with here? I don't necessarily want a pink.
That's a little smelly.
Why do I seek your
There we go. Throw some of that in there.
Well, I'm going to hell.
That seems better, right?
Honey,
Hey, you heard the one about the guy in hell with the coffee and the donuts?
I'm not in the mood.
I'll some coffee and a donut.
Okay, you're doing hell.
I know what he does.
So it's more of a relationship problem than the final destination of your soul.
No, relationships are very important to me.
Maybe you can strike one up with the Prince of Darkness as you burn for all eternity.
And a slice of devil's food cake. Hey! Where's everyone?
They're all on the project. They were voting.
George, you are my main man. I am? I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But lately, you have just seemed on. You always leave me wanting more. This is a huge project involving lots of numbers, papers.
You were right. You were right. I was kind of hating for a second.
Check it out.
I was hating for longer than a second. I was like, ugh. But I feel like Bob Ross, Happy Accidents.
You were excellent.
Thank you. Cirrhosis of the liver with jaundice. All right, I get to wear makeup. What'd you get?
Gonorrhea. Excuse me, I think there's been a mistake. I had gonorrhea last week.
Oh, it's no mistake. We love what you did with it.
I don't believe this. Typecast.
Yeah, that actually is okay with me. It is okay with me. I think I'm gonna go with a very hot white for the horns with just a tad bit of color.
Are you embarrassed that you're losing?
Losing? You know, yesterday I lost control of my car. Almost bought the farm.
Hey, Eric, thanks for stopping by. We're finishing up our Minotaur for the night.
Wait, don't go. Let's thumb wrestle. Scar. A big long scar where her leg would dangle when she's riding a tractor. She's a little self-conscious and doesn't like to talk about it.
So she's more self-conscious about that than her toe thumb.
She doesn't have toe thumbs.
Keeps those girls.
All right. How's the two-man operation at Kroger?
Messed up that horn. It's way too thick, but that's okay. I can knock that back some kind of way.
Some actual work. This is what I have to put up with, Joe.
What did 9:37? Almost made it on time.
I'm not too worried about it. But I am. Couldn't you try to go through some of that stuff I put in your shoebox? All right, I'm going. Oh! Have you ever seen anything like this? Never.
And then I'm just going to go with.
Why I forgot to deliver your pamphlet today? Why don't you just grab that one?
But that belongs to Mr. Potato Guy. That's his.
Come on, I got it.
Well, if you want it, you get it.
Sorry, I shall not steal.
But it's okay for me.
Or you care, you know where you're going.
That is it. I can't live like this.
No. All right, what did I do?
David, I'm going to hell. The worst place in the world. The devils and those caves and the ragged clothing. And the heat. My God, the heat. What do you think about all that?
You're right.
Try to save me.
Don't boss me. This is why you're going to hell.
I am not. And if you think I'm going to hell, you should care that I'm going to hell, even though I am not.
You stole my Jesus fish, didn't you? What did I drink for all those years? What the love in a bottle?
Mr. Kramer, you're up.
Wait, you're gargling diarrhea, aren't you? So, what seems to be bothering you today, Mr. Kramer?
Well, I guess it started about 20 years ago when I got back from Vietnam. And this was the only friend I had left.
Hey, that's my cirrhosis. He's stealing my cirrhosis.
You see gay vision? See if I understand this. You're concerned that he is concerned that you're going to hell.
I think this would be cool as a basic.
No one's getting married here. We're just, having a good time. Thank you, Father.
Did you hear the one about the new guy in hell who's talking to the devil by the coffee machine?
Lighten up. It'll only feel like an eternity. Jerry, there's this thing that I haven't told you about. See, there was this tractor, and oh boy, this is really difficult.
Sophie, it's me. I know about the tractor story, and I'm fine with it.
How could you know?
It's not important. What's important is I'm not going to let a little thing like that ruin what could be a very long-term and meaningful relationship. Say that. No.
You gave me gonorrhea. You didn't even tell me.
Sorry, I gave you gonorrhea because I thought you'd have fun with it. Hey, I'm with someone. Hello.
No, I understand. This could be a tough thing to deal with. The important thing is that you have a partner who's supportive.
You know, she's right.
And that
Not a partner. I got gonorrhea from a tractor.
is a wrap.
You got gonorrhea from a tractor, and you called back the tractor story?
I will let that dry, and before I call it done, I'll probably go in later with some glaze, some highlights. That actually didn't come out too bad. I actually do like that color palette. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it actually, it's not too bad. Let me show you this other painting in my sketchbook real quick. If you want one, I'll send you one. So here's a painting I started many moons ago and never even attempted to go further than that. This was a painting that started as a commission for somebody. It's Agent Carter as Captain America. This is the one that needs to be fixed. And I just won't take the time to fix it. The color was okay, but I kind of messed up on the perspective. And I honestly just don't want to fix it. I should, but I don't know if I'm going to. But I love that black and red. I think that is so sharp. And then this is a sketchbook that I designed, my studio sketchbook. And I have somewhat of a direction sheet on how to use it. But basically, I use it the way I use it is I do a 5-minute sketch here, a 10-minute sketch here, and then a 15 or 30-minute sketch here. So if I'm out at the park and I just want to get some practice in, then and say there's a interesting bush, tree, floral, whatever, I'll do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes and see what I can capture, see what I can capture, see what I can capture. And then I've got it all that way all the way through. But what I also do is I use it for my comics. And if I'm designing a character, I'll do the character design here, and then I'll do a close up of some section here and a close up of some section here. And that's kind of what I have in the directions here. I'm like, this area is ideal for a 5-minute sketch, thumbnails, and composition. This area is ideal for a 10-minute sketch, a detailed close up and facial expressions. And then this area is good for a 30-minute sketch, character design, environmental design, and establishing shot or costume design. And then you can put what project you're working on right here. So I take these and I keep some, and this is a sketch cover of the first comic book that I did. And me and my partners, we all worked on this design. But I started making these for myself, and then I started selling these at comic conventions to other artists. And I think I may go ahead and sell some of these on the train on November 11th with Bad Sunshine and Barbara. But I love these. Wasn't an original idea 100% where I got it from, but and I think I've got like 30, 40, 50 pages in here, something like that. So that's what's going on in the life of Brad Scott Art. I think that came out pretty good. The good thing is, like, it's already dry to the touch. Oh yeah, that's what I love about the gouache. It dries pretty fast. But I am going to. I think I'm gonna let it sit and come back to it tomorrow because I think I do want to do some highlights on it. It turned out better than I know what I do want to do before I leave here. There is one thing I want to do. Because
French impressionist paintings?
I find the soothing pastoral images very conducive. Thank you.
the reason I went with this color wash
I saw him shoplifting at the bookstore.
All right, Leo, look at the man.
Sleeping in the car again? All right, big party.
You didn't dance again, did
was because I wanted to come in with a deeper.
There's this guy and he had a few too many. Worse, we made out at the table like our plane was going down.
Oh, the drunken makeout. An office classic. Did you end up Xeroxing anything?
Do you know how embarrassing this is to someone in my position?
What is your position?
I am an associate.
All right, me too.
Yeah, me too.
Why did I do this? Now I'm the office skank.
Well, unless you tell everybody you're dating.
Oh, right. Because if we're dating, what everyone saw was just a beautiful moment between two lovers.
As opposed to a spirited bout of Skanko-Roman wrestling. Oh, hey. Can I fix you fellas some drinks and sandwiches?
We've already. But you can't clear some of this stuff out of the way. Check this out. Remember my idea about rickshaws in New York? Well, we're gonna make it happen.
No, you're not.
He knows a guy in the Hong Kong post office.
No, he doesn't.
He's shipping us a rickshaw. It can't miss.
Yes, it can.
Start out with one, and then when it catches up, it's the romance of a handsome cab without the guilt or dare with the F one.
So who's gonna pull this thing? Why isn't this an awkward moment?
What about the homeless? Can't we worry about them later? To pull the rickshaw. They do have an intimate knowledge of the street. Always walking around the city.
Why not just strap something to them? Now that's the first sensible idea I've heard all day.
Jerry, hello.
I do like this blue.
How's everything? You doing okay?
Still have the ringing in the ears. Sounds like the phone.
Yeah. What about money? Are you strapped? You need a little?
You kidding? I should be loaning you money. I'm not.
Leo, I saw you at Brentano's yesterday
Why don't you say hello?
because you were too busy stealing. Look.
Okay. I like that. All right. That's cool. That's cool. Let's do the reveal and call this puppy. And we are ahead of schedule. This is the best part. The best part. I didn't let it dry, but I don't care. I'm making a mess. There we go. Thank you. I do like that blue. It's ultramarine with black. And I didn't wait for everything to dry, so I'm a mess. But it did come out pretty much kind of how I wanted it to. I think I'm going to let it dry and then tomorrow do some glaze and touch up, and I'll leave the palette. I'll leave my palette. It'll dry. Some of the old colors from last week ran into this one, and that's why I created some funky colors. But I'm going to use everything here tomorrow to kind of do some highlights, and then I'll clean it. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. I appreciate it. There we go. And Saturday, I will be back on with Sketch Cards Saturday night. And Ray, whenever you want to do a co-host and we can just chat while we work on a Friday or Saturday, because I got to work Monday through Friday. I don't know, your weekends, I don't know how free you are. But let's do it. All right, everybody. I will try. What time are you jumping on tomorrow?
That's just a scare. So I'm going to have to ask you to stand out of the way and let us handle this. Floor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's perfect timing then. Oh, that's even better. Oh, that'd be perfect. Okay, yeah, I'll jump on after I finish my day, and if you're on, I'll shoot you a join. All right. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it. We have our Minotaur for tonight, and that's what we needed to do. Thanks, everybody. Take care.